was at the top.
It was up just back where they can see. Here it is.
It's 10 o'clock.
Good kind.
For the pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Taking attendance. Should I mute them first? Probably good. Check. Hey, that works. We're taking attendance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 owners here and 3 online. We have 10 people. Thank you for coming. We love you all. All right, all the directors are here. The meeting notice was posted on Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Otherwise, you would know to be here. So, congratulations, you made it. We're going to read and approve the minutes from April 23rd, which was the last board meeting. Anyone have any changes to those? No one? Anyone want to make a motion? Motion from Tracy to accept them as written. 20 seconds. All in favor? Aye. All right, passes unanimously. Oh, by the way, I said aye. I just didn't say it out loud. I have conversations up here sometimes I forget to speak them. Okay, so the next item is the May 14th meeting minutes, which was the board workshop. So there was no decisions made there, we just discussed everything, so all I did was list out the topics we discussed. Does anyone have any changes for those? Oh. Anyone want to make a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
Rex makes the motion to accept as written.
Second.
Ooh, tie. Greg got it. Greg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Manager's reports. Unless you want to talk about it. It's the delinquencies and the Plaza Lodge AR balances. It looks like the owner's delinquencies are catching up, looking better. It was not great, looking better. We have 2 illegal, 7 with intent to lien, and 35 late notices, and 6 properties were sold. So that's better than it was before by about a lot of money. About $20,000 better. So they're all moving. We're working on those. We're making sure people can doing that good stuff.
Matt,
You most certainly may.
on the delinquent dues, there's been considerable amount of discussion online from about they didn't have the paperwork or something that wasn't totally, it's their responsibility right now, but something that hampered them from acting. Is there any consideration for those accounts? I can see if they just arbitrarily said, I'm not paying for a month, then you get a late fee. But if it had something to do with it was sent to the wrong address or.
I mean, you're supposed to keep the management company up to date on your current address. Forwarding may or may not work. It's USPS. I don't trust them for anything. And it's not that people didn't know what the dues were. They just wanted the piece of paper. And whether it got sent to them or not, can't say. But if you decide not to pay your visa statement because it didn't come to you in the mail, Visa does not care. They're going to charge you interest and late fees. And I don't think that it's fair that, hey, I didn't get my coupon book in the mail, so I'm not gonna pay, even if you, like, even when this was going on in January, in December and January, people were posting coupon book screenshots saying, this is the address, this is the amount, your account number will be different, but everything else is the same. People didn't want to use that. They wanted a perfect piece of paper in the mail, and we don't live in a perfect world. So
There's online payment.
I mean, there is online payments. I know Deanna emailed some scans of the coupon books to people. They didn't want to accept that. They wanted their paper copy. They could email in their complaint, but they couldn't use the email copy to pay their fees. So I mean, it's like,
Somebody just posted on the Facebook page saying that comment about, did anybody else charge late fees? Because I didn't get it wrong.
I mean, I didn't get charged a late fee because I saw it. I had the dues in my bill pay system set up for 535 or whatever, 532, whatever it was, and I got updated for 2021. So when I got the email that said, hey, your check's been sent, I was like, oh, that's the wrong amount. I would send a supplemental check like the same day, so it got there in time, but it's...
So the answer basically is, no, there's no consideration for being late because we have so many other checkpoints in line that can be used, and they should have used it rather than just not pay.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
I hope that the association members understand this.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the clarification on their behalf.
Yeah, I didn't understand that the owners, that it's a common thing for people to ask for interest waivers and late fee waivers. I had no idea this was happening until I got my first one, and I was like, okay, let me review it, see what was going on. I figured this was like a one-off thing. And the next 3 days, I got 5 more. I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. This is a thing we do a lot of. Okay, let's see what we can do to address that. So you do have microphones. You have to push the button to turn them on. It'll help the people online here. It's at the bottom on the side. It's a little gray button. Yeah, what's that? Gray thing is the bracket. This is a music. But mainly because I always turn them on. I always turn them on, so I always know where the buttons are. No one else has to do it. I know Greg has some stuff from maintenance and the fence, which I think we're going to talk about the fence a little bit later. Also, nope, we left in director reports. So, Greg, where are we with the fence stuff?
Sorry?
Where are we with the fence stuff?
I did talk to Paul Green, see if we could get a better price, and it was $100. That was the discount. So, needless to say, we're not gonna. I was looking for 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, not $100. But I do appreciate Paul Green taking the time to call him and see if he could do anything better. We're all set, we're ready to order the fence. You know, we've got everything measured out.
Where's it gonna go?
I'm sorry? You know where the fence ends coming in? It's gonna start there and come all the way to the gatehouse. And then on the other side, I don't know if you've noticed the stakes in the ground.
Yes.
It's gonna follow that all the way to the street and then come straight across where the rail fence is. And then there's gonna be a gate at that end, which will be locked at night. It's gonna be for golf carts to go in, so we're not trying to go around the entranceway and get killed. So, there'll be a gate coming down from the elite area, down that wooden walkway. There'll be a a gate there. We're gonna move one from, which is in back the old Salties, the pizza place. And then, so what it's gonna do is it's going to force anybody that's coming in here in the evening that doesn't belong here, it's gonna put them right in front of the gatehouse. Which is, eventually what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a different lighting system, cameras, and gates. Swing gates 5 feet high so they can't crawl under them, over them. So essentially what we're trying to accomplish at the end of all of this is that you come in here to do something that we don't want you to be in here for. You're gonna be on camera. You're gonna be put right in front of the gatehouse. You're not gonna be able to crawl over the fence or over the burners and go about your business. So it'll secure things a lot more, especially for the one shift that we have canceled, or was canceled. And, a lot of the RV parks that my wife and I traveled to last year, there is nobody after 11 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning. They just don't have it. But they have secure measures in place to keep everybody secure. So that's what we're trying to do.
Tracy, anything new with the lift station stuff? I know you had talked to some people.
Yes. I'm finally getting somewhere with this lift station stuff. This morning, actually, I confirmed a meeting with the head of the lift station stuff, Bryan County Utilities. Rex and I will be going Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock to meet with that person. And the emails I got back are very helpful. It's like, they won't take over, eventually won't take over our lift station anyway, so.
Wonderful. One less thing. Does anyone else have anything for the director? Events. Oh, events. Yes. Oh, there's a lot of events going on.
I have a lot of events.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yes. Memorial Day weekend. First of all, I just got this morning, Lori sent me the minutes for the meeting they had. She sent me a copy this morning, which I will Anyway, Memorial Day being the next major event. There are owners that went together and are sponsoring a band for Saturday night. It's going to be out here by the lake from 6 to 10. During the day, there is going to be, on Saturday, there's going to be an ice cream truck here. There's going to be a food truck here. Ice cream truck is going to stay for Sunday as well. I don't think the food truck will be here both days, but I know that the ice cream truck, this is the same one upstairs for the birthday party, and they liked it so much, they were like, can we stay overnight? I'm like, sure. So they're going to be here. There's going to be a lot of things for the kids. Lori has been, and the committee has been in overdrive planning stuff for, there's a cake walk for the kids, there's candy bar bingo for the kids, there's slide, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and they're trying to get somewhere. They're planning out pretty much the whole summer. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. The goal is, especially for the children, because in the past, me having children, I can testify to this, there's not been that much for the kids to do. And I understand Corona shut a lot of stuff down, but even before that, there was very little for the kids to do. And that's one thing I'm excited about this committee is you got a lot of people that want to do things, not only for the adults, also for the adults, but especially for the kids. They come here, and we're going to put she's organizing a schedule that will be handed out to visitors when they check in. They can look at the calendar and say, oh, okay, on this day at this time at the lodge, at the pavilion, at the lakefront, blah, 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 this is what's going on. It gives the kids something to look to. So, yeah, we got a big donation from the Poker Run, gave us $1,500. They bought, which paid for an event tent, which is 22, 35 or something like that. It's 20 to 40. Okay, 20 to 40. It's big, and that was paid for out of that, and some lighting as well. A couple other people have donated something. There's a sunshade, which has not been put up because it's the wrong size. But there's a sunshade that we tore down the stuff down here on the lakefront that was up there, the shabby looking tiki stuff. And there's a sunshade gonna go up there. The posts are already up, but there's a sunshade. We're gonna try to have a lot more event stuff down here on the lakefront. It also keeps it out of the community, any kind of noise and stuff like that. So there is a lot of stuff going on. We'll keep people updated as much as we can. On these days that we have things, one thing that she did say that is to put out there for any volunteers to help is, take walks and all this stuff. It takes people. So we're looking for volunteers for that on the days of these events. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about what's going on with events now that we're opening back up. And we also have a lot of people. I think we get 15 people that are signed up to be a part of the events. So yeah, that's what I got.
I got one more thing. The new lock system for the gates up by the square meal, we got the new one. Dave has been putting it together, working it, so he understands it. We're going to put one up now. That's going to be at the square meal entrance right there. We're going to probably keep the same code that you had to use in the past. This is a mechanical lock. There will be no more failures of batteries, electronics, and things like that. We're going to use this one first. Hopefully it's going to be what we hope it will be. And then we're going to replace 3 more. The one that will eventually be moved where the fence is going to be, behind the laundromat. And then we're going to put one also on the gate into maintenance, because that's going to start staying closed during the day. So if you see a new gate lock, we're going to try to email everybody out there, let you know. If you have any problems with how it's going to work, maintenance, or maybe somebody at the gatehouse or myself, whatever, we'll be glad to show you. It's not that difficult. It's just going to be a little bit different, and hopefully we won't have any more failure with the gate not working. So I just want to let everybody know that it should start hopefully this coming week. We'll have that new lock up.
Yeah,
Well,
it has to have a last
The
digit.
code could actually be still the 2019, but you're going to have a letter after it. That would be the only difference. But, to get everybody up to speed, it's not going to be rocket science, but it's going to be a little different than what you've been used to.
But hopefully it won't make you stand there and go, I wish this lock would have opened.
Right, it won't.
Because I know all of you have been as frustrated as I have been. You're like, I'm about to kick this fence in.
You just have to hold your mouth.
Hello, gently. Do you have any updates, Rex? Rexy?
There's only, I think there was 2 requests in for hardtop on stream closures attached to an RV. Everything else has basically been put on hold until the approval of the new rules, at which time we're going to really
So you'll be busy.
yeah. And I've spoken also with the ARC that once we give permission, they need to follow up and make sure it's being done according to what has been requested.
Yes.
Way too many owners are taking advantage of that and either just doing it without a permit from ARC, or they say, I'm just gonna replace a couple of rotted woods on my deck, and then we go by and look at it, lo and behold, they've extended the deck 15 feet or whatever, and okay. Then we have to do what we don't want to do. And that's called the building department, and the outcome's not going to be great. So we're trying to encourage the owners to do what's right. And I talked with the ARC guys, and I feel that I don't care if it is rotted wood that needs to be replaced, they still have to request for it to be done. So we can better monitor it and don't drive by and see a load of lumber there. I think anything that's done to that block outside of the RVs, park models, whatever, needs to be ARC.
it's safer to put one in, because we're not trying to deny people. That's not what we want at all. We just want to make sure that everything's going the way it should. That's all. I'm all for you guys doing tons of improvements. It makes it prettier. Everybody likes it. This is why we can't have nice things. But yeah, Art's gonna be real busy. Later on in the meeting, we're gonna be scheduling for lack of a better term, the ratification meeting. And from that point is when the rules will be updated officially, legally. They've been through legal. Man, that woman can put some revisions in some things. A lot of red lines through everything. But there were no material changes. She changed things to reflect what our declaration says, so that we're not violating our own documents. We can't do that. So the articles is the only one that's still held up right now, and it's only held up because apparently we're doing art wrong. We're supposed to, if we're going to have a color scheme or these different things, we have to tell you what the colors are. We didn't tell anyone what the colors were. Also, we don't have a color list. For siding, sheds, painting, exterior, like that kind of stuff. Because in the rules it says it must be muted earth tones, and she put a line through it that said vague, need to define. Right, but clearly that doesn't always happen. So what we're going to do is annually, because right now we don't have a color list. Most HOAs and condo associations have hammered this color list out over years. We don't have one. So we're creating one. I went to Sherwin-Williams, I pulled 3 of their collections that pretty much covered everything I could remember in the park already, and put it together, and then we're adding the language that if you want a color that's not on this list, ask Art, they'll evaluate it to make sure it's still reasonable. I can't have a fluorescent pink house, sorry. Fluorescent pink. That's a, yeah, see? But
Oh, now we're picking on purple? I agree with
so we need to update that list until we get it refined. Also, Sherwin-Williams has a selector on their website where you can say what state and city you're in, select your association, and it'll give you the list of colors that are pre-approved. I know. I was like, we're registering for that. I didn't know. We're registering. So that's where the art thing is stuck right now, is she's adding that language for this color list addendum. After that, she's supposed to get it to me today. I talked to her last night. So once we get those, we'll be sending the mailing out with the meeting notice, and then we'll do some other important things. So that's happening very shortly. We're going to schedule the ratification meeting today. Events we already talked about. Communications. We have new people on the communications committee. We have Susan Santos that is assisting, and Deborah Decatur out of left field. Didn't expect her to volunteer, but she did. And she's been great. She actually made the Memorial Day flyer for us. Welcoming committee's been working. They are planning in collaboration with events. I didn't write it down in my messages. January 15th, we're going to do, it's a Saturday. We're going to do a, we're going to do we're trying to do it when all the snowbirds, northerners, whatever you want to call them, the people that live out of state, when they're all here. We're going to do a pancake breakfast for everybody. And I just found a volunteer chef. She's making pancakes for us. Welcome, welcome. So Sharon and Jill and Adair are working on that. That's where we are with committee stuff. Anyone else have anything before we go into the actual agenda? All right. So in old business, we have this operational expenses purchasing limit. I was talking with Debbie about this. The Leland, as a part of their contract, have they have $1,000 spending limit without board approval for emergencies. So what I was was trying to do was account for something like that, like, hey, the computer at the gatehouse got struck by lightning, and we need to buy one right now. We don't want to have a board meeting to buy the computer that got destroyed to operate the resort. I didn't realize this was already handled somewhere else, so we're just gonna take this off the agenda. It's a non-issue. I just didn't want you to see it disappear and say, well, they never talked about that. What happened to it? The streetlight repair, these streetlights. Miller Electric is still looking, Miller and Hometown are looking for replacement fixtures now. So here's the deal. Our fixtures are designed for sodium vapor bulbs. Right? They put out 15,000 lumens. Pretty bright. Maintenance has been putting in mercury vapor bulbs that put out 7,500 lumens, so it's half the light. Now they've been doing this for a long time, so I don't want to just switch back and everyone go, we put a mini sun outside my house, what were you thinking? So the option we have is because of the way the fixture is designed, it can only have so much heat load, otherwise it'll burn up things. We don't want to catch street poles on fire. We're either going to have to keep sodium vapor, or we're going to have to replace the shoebox fixture. Now, in replacing the shoebox fixture, you get rid of all the ballasts, which we were going to have to remove anyway, the igniters, all the extra stuff, plus you get an LED fixture out of it. Depending on the cost of the fixture, it may not be a bad idea, because the labor in removing all the other stuff probably is going to net out somewhere similar. But we kind of had to pivot on what we were originally doing. Originally, we were just stripping the internals, direct wiring the fixture to the voltage supply and putting in an LED bulb. But we can't get an LED bulb that puts out enough light to fit in the fixture. It's been a really exciting thing to deal with, because every time I get a plan, someone goes, well, actually, that's not going to work. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. So I know it's been on the agenda forever, and I keep putting it in old business. It's going to have to stay there a little longer, because I can go back with the sodium vapor ones. I can do that, but they're going to be twice as bright. And I don't think all the owners are going to be able to do that, and I'm trying not to get lynched this early in my presidency. So we're going to see if we can get something where we can put a better fixture in that's going to use less energy and do all of that stuff for about the same pricing that we already had quoted. So I'm still working on that, sorry. I didn't design this place, not design. We had attached items for landscaping quotes and commercial cleaning quotes. We couldn't get any. No one wants to come out here and do that stuff. So I wanted to announce publicly, we're closing them out of the agenda. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to continue to do what we're doing and figure something else out internally. No contract services want to come out here for what we have. They just don't. Status updates, the cost share. Heard a lot about the cost share. Kathleen reviewed the document. The rewrite, or the changes that were proposed were rate changes, percentages. This board, the past board, didn't have a problem with, or the board that originally did it in this board, don't have a problem with the percentage changes. We already agreed to that, we're cool with it. The document itself is the wrong type of document, and the structure of it is very poor. And when I talked to Kathleen about it, she said, I can't in good conscience tell you to sign this. I can't give you my legal opinion that, yes, this is ready for you to sign. Now, when we asked the cottages to have the document drawn up, because they wanted the rate changes, so draw up the amendment, when I evaluated everything, I didn't evaluate the legal nature of the document. I'm not an attorney. I evaluated the finance stuff of it. So Kathleen's suggestion is basically to take this declaration of easement and cost share, or whatever it's called, and the assumption of water services cost share agreement, and then one very clear cost share operations agreement, which would be one. So that's kind of where we are. The attorneys are trying to work it out. I told Kathleen to start drafting it, because in her words, she said, any owner or director should be able to read these documents and understand them. She's like, if they're too confusing for me to decode as an attorney, they're way too confusing for you guys. And everyone knows that's accurate. Our documents are confusing as anything. I have the restated declaration, or declaration of condominium, that will be being published here shortly, along with the articles of incorporation and the bylaws. We'll take all the amendments that have happened since inception and give you one operating version. This is what's real right now. That way you don't have to reference 16 different documents trying to figure out how to change what and when. So, put this common street names thing on here. We talked about it. I just put a note that I want to discuss this with events. I'm going to talk to Laurie about it. I think she could come up with a really cool way to do a contest, and it'd be a community interactive event versus something that's very sterile and analytical. So I think the common street names are a great idea. I don't know what they're going to be. I think you guys should pick them, which I think is going to be fun. On to new business.
I'm not aware of what the, that they're changing, talking about changing the.
No, so we're not going to change the 911 addresses because those are set by the county and they did all that. But it used to be, I lived on Chipmunk Way and Squirrel Lane was over there. It wasn't the 5 different versions of 141. So.
I was just concerned about having to change my address.
Nope.
My license for 25.
No, none of this. It's going to be, you know, when you see the private street signs that are the white ones that don't mean anything other than to the person that put it there, we'll do something like that, where it'll have these are the private street names or the common street names. That way, when you say, I live on Chipmunk Lane, people can find you, because right now, no one can go. It took me a year to understand this place, and I still get lost in weird corners. It's a maze. So we need to schedule our next town hall. We got a calendar. Do you want to do June 12th?
Sure.
Make sure our resident town hall person is.
Saturday. It's always better turning out if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, and I prefer Saturday.
Prefer Saturday? And last time it was you and Mike. Who is it this time? Greg? All right.
Greg and Tracy.
Oh, it's Greg and Tracy? No, no, that's it's Rex. It's Rex. All right.
Nice try.
Let's put that on the calendar.
Yeah.
So Saturday, June 12th, we'll do a town hall, 10 a.m.
And
You want to do pavilion or here? Here?
yeah.
Lodge.
It's gonna be real warm. Yeah.
All right. Our next meeting dates. We originally had it scheduled.
Member association member appreciation for that meeting there. We'll have coffee and donuts. So come one, come all.
I'm coming to that meeting.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
The next regular board meeting, we had scheduled for the 18th. There was a conflict, so we're looking at the 25th. Does anyone have a problem with Friday the 25th? June? No? Very huffy, no. Very concerned.
He's looking at his new glasses, Mr. Vanity.
Oh, he's so handsome. Does anyone have a problem with us doing them at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
No. That wasn't a huffy one, was it?
No, that was very clear, very
Is
clear.
that a no, we don't want to have it there, or no?
I checked my calendar and it's
Is everybody good with that?
So what are we doing now? June 25th
It's a Friday at 4 p.m. Is that okay?
for the meeting?
It make my life a lot easier,
That's fine.
if it's all right with you guys.
Yes.
I already talked with Debbie to make sure that that was cool with her.
Yes.
Adult beverages are.
We'll put the cocktail cart outside, and then that way we can look at it while we're having the meeting, and we'll get through it real quick so we can go have cocktails outside. A couple of kids. Oh my goodness. All right. The next thing we need to schedule is first day. Scroll through many times. All right. So. So we're going to schedule a ratification meeting for the ARC rules and the rules and policies, the ones that you guys have seen like 4 or 5 times at this point, and they've been being revised. This is when they become effective from that point on. So
There's some reason there's a common misconception in this part, because I've been in here, looking in here, I have people stop by and ask me, some of the past board members, choosing this, but they already been passed. Active.
the board adopted them. But they
Tracy,
haven't-
they can't hear you. Speak your
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
So what he's saying is that people have accused this current board of trying to operate with new rules without ratifying them and noticing it properly. The board adopted the changes on April 23rd, I think, and we sent them to the legal team to review and confirm before we ratified them. So now we're scheduling the ratification meeting. From that point on, they will be the real rules. So I'm looking at June 9th. It's a Wednesday. This will be a 100% Zoom meeting. It's only going to have the items of the rules and regulations, which will be published far before that, and the ARC rules, and possibly the electronic voting resolution, because Kathleen had some changes to that. But it's just document changes from legal. And they'll all be published. You'll be able to see them all beforehand. None of them are really changing materially. And we're just going to get on Zoom. We're going to make motions to accept them, ratify them. It'll be a 10-minute meeting. So just going to do that real quick that way. Does anyone have any objections to that?
We just need to make sure you say that to me actually 2 days in advance.
Yes. I'm hoping to get them to you today. Not that they're going out today, but, so,
You know, but
yeah, so tentatively, this meeting is, I gave us a little bit of, June 9th is when that meeting will be. What time? We can do 10, and it's a Wednesday. I'll send everyone a Zoom link, you guys will join in, you can do it with your phone, have your little video on, we'll have all of us on screen, we'll make the motion to vote, approve, be done with it. Butcher the spelling correction, because it's terrible. Cool. Right, so got through that. All meeting dates. So in the past, I've had lots of complaints and gripes about us not meeting the schedule for things. People getting their meeting packets late and not knowing when things were. So we are publishing the fall meeting dates now. The notices when we're going to be mailing them out, when candidate sheets and intent to run for the board is due, when the annual meeting will be, and the meet the candidate date. All of that is on this document. It's Monday, November 1st, is 40 days till the annual meeting. You have to scroll up some more. Tuesday, October 12th is 60 days to the annual meeting. The first notice gets mailed out then. November 1st is 40 days till the annual meeting. You You have to have your intent to be a candidate for the board in by then. So that's Saturday, November 6th, 35 days till the annual meeting. You have to have your candidate sheets, your resumes, your backgrounds, or whatever you want to submit. You have to have those in. Thursday, November 11th, 30 days till the annual meeting. The second notice of the annual meeting will be mailed out then. Saturday, November 20th, 21 days till the annual meeting. We're going to have meet the candidate night. And Saturday, December 11th at 10 a.m. the annual meeting and election. So get it all out there now and early so that everyone's prepared and ready. All the voting, and we're going to have to get the election committee to assist again. I was going to ask JJ if he wanted to help with that again, but we haven't talked to him yet, so we're just talking about.
He won't be back until November.
Okay. So we'll be working on all of that stuff coming up, but we're not going to go into the annual meeting season unprepared this year. We're preparing early. We need to select a new electronic voting vendor. Leland had some recommendations. Our attorney had a couple. We looked at all of them. The two strongest were HOA Host, so it's HOAST is the company name, and Vote HOA Now. After looking at them, I think the strongest one is Vote HOA Now. They seem to have the better setup. It's approximately $770 for the election, and they handle all of the registration stuff, getting the details entered, all of that stuff. You get a meeting coordinator from them, and they'll coordinate with Leland and the election group. So it's going to be a little different, but the same exact process as last year. You log in, cast your vote, gives you confirmation, and email receipt. They do the same exact thing. So I'm going to make a motion that we select Vote HOA Now as our electronic voting provider for the 2021 annual meeting and election. I have a second from Tracy. All in favor? Aye. All right. Aye. Passes unanimously. Perfect. At the workshop, we discussed the collections policy. We wanted to change some things in it. I don't know if you saw that email, Greg. We were going to change the grace period to 30 days. I was told I can't do that. And the reason is because it's in our governing documents that it's 10 days. So if we want to do that, we'll have to prepare it as an amendment for the fall. We had really discussed how we wanted to do this and how to make it a little easier and keep some of the burden off the owners while still collecting what they're supposed to pay. And so we come up with 30 days was the grace period. And now after 30 days, there was no waivers, there was no nothing, sorry. The attorney came back and said, you can't do that. Or maybe it was Leland. It was Leland? Yeah. Leland came back and was like, actually, it's in your governing documents in paragraph blah, blah, blah. She's on top of it. So we're going to keep it at 10. The only thing that's changing in this document is we had, in the second bullet item, it said if payment is not made within 30 days of the due date, a notice of intent to lien shall be prepared and mailed by the association's management company or something like that. We changed it to the association's legal representation. This was at their request. They said that, well, they were not actually a property management company. They said when they get these files from the property management companies, a lot of times there's one procedural error. And because of that procedural error, they have to reset the clock and start all the way at day 0 again and do all the waiting periods for the 30 days in between. So you end up pushing it out another 60 days. She said this is the way we prefer it because it really sucks when you're like, hey, I'm ready for you to lien this property, they haven't been paying, and they review it and go, well, actually, we have to start over because you missed this one little thing. So that's the only change we've made to that document, was that one line. Changed it from the association's management's legal representation to the association's legal representation. We just moved the step because it went to our attorney and the next step already. So now we just moved it up one step. Can I have a motion to approve this new policy? So I have a motion from Tracy, a second from Mike. All in favor? Aye. Everyone passed. Motion passes unanimously. That's that one. Covenant enforcement policy, we're not going to sign today. It's in the packet. There was a point brought up by legal. If you have time windows and everything, there's no way. Say Tommy gets real mad one day, because you know Tommy's Tommy, and we love Tommy, but he can get mad. And he decides to throw a chair, or no, let's back that up, because I already talked to my brother about that, and he was like, no, that's criminal mischief. He decides to scream at the gatehouse employees, cuss them up and down. Now, by this enforcement policy, the board has no action to take against this owner that is verbally assaulting our employees. There's no sanctions in here that we can do, because we're going to send them a letter that says, hey, friendly reminder, you have 14 days to comply. The incident's over. So Kathleen said we need to add, she has something that she wants to add to this, so that way if there's an egregious violation of something, and it's not a long-term item, that there is sanctions that the association can take to correct the situation. So while it's in here and everything in here is fine, we just need that one section to be updated. So that will be coming back here shortly. The electronic voting resolution. We had legal review this, and there were some minor problems with it. The bottom line was she said that if someone challenged the election, they probably wouldn't win, but it would cause a whole lot of problems. She's like, so we should probably correct this. So I asked her to correct it, so that one will be coming back also. But it's the same document, it's legally, we have to put this T here. If we don't put it here, it doesn't mean the same thing. I love them. So we are down to website. So in the email I sent all of you, there was a link to the new website. Did any of you see it? No? What do you think? Honest opinion. Like if you hate it, that's fine. It's not?
It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's missing all the information right now,
Right.
but the framework's there and it's polished off. We're going to start populating all that data. I'm going to have communications help me do this stuff. So we're going to start to be transitioning. The calendar there is going to be the first thing to start getting populated, because I've been holding the events group back and the communications group back from updating our current one on the Leland site, because I didn't want to put all the work into the wrong calendar just to have to do it again on the new one. The new one's ready to go, so I'm going to start having them put that data in there. And that'll be an easy spot to come see what's going on. The big events like Memorial Day weekend will be a featured event, and then there's big blocks that you see the stuff for. So that's great. The restroom cleaning, we've expanded Valerie's hours. I don't remember what they are now.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, Saturdays.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, Valerie's now cleaning, and maintenance is filling in the gaps. Greg's been working with them. Landscaping, Greg meets with them on Mondays, I think you told me earlier today. And so they're working through some of those issues. There was a piece of equipment that was missed, that a pull start had broken, that should have been in by now. We're gonna be, an owner had donated a push mower last year, so they're gonna start to utilize some of that stuff. The air compressor blew up, but I believe I have one in my shed that I don't need, so I'll probably be donating that one up to the maintenance. So we're working on improving all of these areas. Election committee, we're gonna need the election committee. Leland can act as one, from my understanding. But if owners want to be a part of that and be helping with that, it would be greatly appreciated. You can contact the board, contact me, and I will get you guys organized and put you together. The dumpster contract, I made a note that I thought we should contact Waste Management because they just bought Advance. But I looked at our Advance contract and it is for 5 years, it's 2023, I think. But it had longer on it than I thought it did. It may be worth investigating with Waste Management to see what we could get out of them if we changed to them. Their contract's valid through the purchase of Advance, but what can we get if we renegotiate the contract? What can we get out of it? We don't have to, but it's never not worth the discussion. So one of the directors may end up doing that, looking into that to see what we can do.
When did this buyout take place?
Last year.
Because this past week, dumpsters were hit and miss around this park. And it is deplorable.
So I have a little bit of an inside scoop on trash pickup, but only because my mother-in-law works for the Rosemary Hill landfill in Clay County. And guess who their pickup contractor is? Waste Management. It was Advanced Disposal, now it's Waste Management. They use day laborers for pickup stuff. And because everyone can stay at home and not work and get unemployment right now, they're having a terrible time keeping employees. To the point where they're running trucks on the weekends to try and pick up the slack. The people that are working, or they're like, I don't want to say a percentage, but like say they're not running at capacity, they don't have the staff. No one wants to work. So that's what's been going on everywhere. That people don't want to work, so they're having more and more issues. Now, I think the drivers are usually not day laborers, but it would not be surprising if the drivers are also experiencing some of the same issues.
The problem that we had, we get a new driver, okay, and that's what happens. They don't know where all the dumpsters are. Now, Dave has said, I'll be glad to show them where all the dumpsters. We got a new driver. We just have to verify at the gatehouse when they come in, you know, that, hey, if you've been here before, you know where all the dumpsters are. If not, Dave will come up and he'll walk you through it and show you where all the dumpsters are. Now, that driver might be just for that day, and then we'll go back to a previous driver. So it does happen, but if we can capture that at the gate, you know, hey, if you've been in here before, you know where the dumpsters are? Yes, okay, great. If you don't, Dave comes up, he walks you through where all the dumpsters are.
Simplify it. When the dumpster company comes in, the guardhouse, the gatehouse notifies one of the maintenance guys, hey, they're here, and they walk them through the park to ensure that the dumpsters are being emptied. Because we can't have this again. Because owners, once they get to a dumpster and it's full, they just lay it aside. And then all of a sudden, the critters come and get it, and it can't happen. It's happened several times. I think that when the trucks come in, gatehouse contact maintenance, they go around to ensure,
Or at least the maintenance goes up there and Dave knows a lot of the drivers, okay? So he knows the driver and he knows that person and that person's done this in here multiple times and he doesn't need to walk them through. But at least verify so that we don't have dumpsters missed and things like that. It's happened. And it's, like you said, limit problems, you know.
We also have had some issues with regulatory bodies coming in, like DEP, FWC, yeah. So there's been regulatory bodies come in, and we admit everybody at the gate. We have no reason to be like, no, you can't come in here. But there have been incidents where other people in the room are presenting themselves as points of contact, official points of contact for the association, and kind of misleading these people. So Gatehouse has been notified that if anyone shows up from a government agency, local, state, federal, anything, they're to contact a board member, whoever they can get that's in the park, and then let that person know, let the person that's coming in at the gate know they're meeting Rex down by the pavilion, or they're meeting Tracy down by the lift station, or wherever they have to go. They know who they're meeting and who the official point of contact is, because we've discovered there was some things happening, and we're like, that's not, they have nothing to do with anything. They shouldn't be representing the association. So the Gatehouse has been told to handle it that way. That way the agent that's going down to inspect whatever knows who they're meeting, and that the person is an official point of contact. There was another thing. Oh, the porta pots. At the workshop, we discussed the porta pots that are over by the pavilion. They're cleaned twice a week. We decided that, that's what I meant. Every 2 weeks, that's what I meant. Dyslexia. They're cleaned every 2 weeks. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're going to be unlocked for when we have a larger population on the weekends, we just do. So they'll be unlocked on the weekends. They'll be locked at 10 o'clock. When the Gatehouse usually locks other things, they're going to come and lock those. And they'll unlock them in the morning. If you have an event, you have a birthday party on a Wednesday or whatever, you can go to the Gatehouse and ask them to unlock them for your event. That's fine. We just don't want them to end up being someplace that mischief happens. So we're going to keep them closed unless someone asks them to be open. Yes, sir.
Do you know that by keeping them up there and not using them, it's 40% of the events budget that you allocate? It's been $2,100 a year. It's for them. Are y'all aware of that?
People didn't like it when they were urinating in the dog park. So we're trying to solve a problem that has been going on with the best way we can. And it seems to be working. People like them. They're how much it was. What's that?
$61 the annual check. You do that for years.
Yeah. So there's.
It was set up that whoever wanted to use it was one to pay for
So the first couple of months they were here, the poker run brought them in,
that. Right.
and then the individual,
We paid for it.
Right.
and then a couple individual owners paid for a couple months after that because they were nice to have around. And when they came to pick them up, we decided to keep them because people were using them. They worked out really nicely. And on the weekends, when you have a lot of people around, especially at the boat ramp, it's a good spot to have something. And the whole board decided that it was a good idea.
We've discussed it, not for every year, but because of the holidays that are coming up during the summer months, and to use the lakefront and to use the pavilion, which has really been started a lot. And I think for 3 birthday parties for young kids, it's been very beneficial to have those porta pots there.
And just the sanitary aspect of it. You know, people relieving themselves in areas of the park. Right, it's an expense, no doubt, but does the expense outweigh the need? You need the
that's something you guys got to determine. That seems like an awful lot of money to take away from events.
Well, there's a problem. Well, events also,
We're gonna want events to pay for it, so I mean, that's gonna cover it in itself.
Yeah.
With the event committee now, you'll be able to take care of it, establish it,
I understand your concern. It's in the budget for the event committee, this 5,000. But because now we're generating other interest, it's gonna generate more revenue into that. Anyway.
the goal was to eventually have events be self-sufficient. They weren't being supported by the annual budget. That was a goal last year. When Jack came on, he stopped all discretionary spending, which included events. I talked to events and I said, you know, it's in the budget. We're not over budget. We've been doing very well with that stuff for the first quarter. That will assist with the big events like buying the fireworks, and the New Year's Eve party is a huge expense. Like we sell tickets, we offset it a good bit, but there's a lot of upfront cost there. And I said, you know, the association has no problem spending money to assist with those things, but really the fundraising from the dinners and the other things that you guys are doing, you should be able to support 90% of what you're doing already. And even when I was helping with events a lot with Kelly in the past, like, we were bringing in $300-400 every time we did dinner in profit. So we were funding all of our stuff ourselves. We used the money that we got from the association back then to buy the supplies that were either missing or had been destroyed over time. So I don't think it's a problem that we're taking that money from the expense line item that they have on the budget, because other than the two things, the New Year's Eve party and 4th of July, events is planning on fundraising for all of their own stuff. And I don't think that's a problem. I think it's pretty easy to do, because we were doing it. We were bringing in tons of money when we were regular with it. And then COVID happened and messed everything up. So I don't think it's going to be an issue that we're spending that money from the events fund, because eventually the events line expense is going to be almost nothing. It will be the New Year's Eve event and the 4th of July, because for 4th of July we buy fireworks, which I think last year they gave us a buy one get one, so we spent $750, but we got $1,500 for the fireworks. And then New Year's Eve, I remember the food truck was the food truck that prepared the food. They didn't serve it out of the truck; they brought it in here. It was relatively expensive in comparison to the other stuff we did. So you're looking at $2,500 a year, maybe, that we would be putting out for those two events, because everything else is supplemented by the fundraising.
Something to think about because of the increase in temperature, especially starting this next week. It's being refreshed and pumped every 2 weeks. Probably will take a little bit weekly, just to make sure that it's not being a bad problem.
They are on standby should the portalet be used more frequently, but the portalet company was the one that recommended, because of the usage, that it be done every other week. So, and then they also told us that requires more, let them know.
Yeah, it's
And
just a
yes,
recommendation.
absolutely.
We're gonna have increasing zones.
If it winds up that there's a lot more parties or a lot more requests for them to be open, we'll definitely take a look at it and get it refreshed prior that weekend. Monitoring, yes, we are.
I don't have anything else for this meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta find out what happened to the tree fund are, where all the trees have been painted, that's been cut down, and we're donating money to trees, and
I remember they found something. I don't remember
Yeah.
what it was.
it has been used or it is being used to trim the roadways up to 14 feet above. And actually, that's something I needed to talk to you about, because Scene came and talked to me, and for $1,800, he'll spend a day in here cutting all of this stuff up, but he's not gonna tote it off. We have to have our guys follow him to keep this roadway clear from what he drops. He'll cut it up into pieces that are able to be picked up, but he's gotta keep moving. And that's gonna happen this week. So, there's just been too many RVs that have hit these low-lying branches, and to do so, we've got in touch with Scene, and he's gonna put through.
And here this week, he's gonna want to.
Yeah, not only the head height, but along the roadside. If any tree is encroaching onto the road, that will be trimmed up as well. So, yeah.
We're also earmarking that the tree fund, the replacement tree fund income to be used for landscaping projects too. Because we've severely neglected our parents as an association. And we're trying to find ways to improve it without making it a budgetary concern. So there's that tree fund. It's not a guaranteed income source, so we can't say that it's a part of the annual budget that, hey, we're going to make at least this much money. We don't know how much money we're going to make. So it can't be used as a dependable offset to our expenses, but it can be used, hey, we have $1,200 in the tree fund, let's go buy some plants and redo the main bathhouse's landscaping and make it look top-notch again. That we can do with it. So that the gate income and the tree fund income are both being used to improve areas of the park without affecting the general budget. Is what we're doing.
Also, speaking on landscaping, Dave asked me the other day, since the weather's still cool, he wants to know if they can get started on taking up all the hedges
Oh yeah.
and the other fencing. They're ready to go. So if you want to get up a bit.
As a part of the fencing continued at the front, we're taking out a lot of those hedges.
The only reason I haven't started on that vinyl fencing is going to take a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks to get. It could be up to 8 weeks to get. We could be at the end of summer by the time we get it. So I didn't want to go in and start tearing out hedges and split rail until we get the product here where we can start putting it in.
You figure out whatever works best. I mean, you can start taking out the hedges. I mean, some of them are dead anyway.
They actually all.
Yeah. So I mean, if we start taking them out while
We actually probably should, where the fence ended, from there forward, get all that out.
that way
Because
ready.
that is really the first part of this phase 1 of building that fence, is doing that side. We want to widen that out so we have a different entrance and stuff like that, so we can start doing that.
Yeah.
Tear out those fiberglass and that rail fence.
For the homeowners, so you understand, there is a large renovation project that we have already implemented that's taking place at the entryway. We have walked that site several times already, and yes, we know what it's going to look like in the end, and it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's going to look better than I've ever seen this park look, and I've been out here since 2005. It's that nice looking, what we're trying to, or know what we're going to accomplish out there. Not only there, because we have control of it, but the bathrooms, bathhouses that we have control of, we're also going to do that, and that's going to help in those areas to give it a better sight, visual.
If we're gonna call ourselves a resort, we should
Look like it.
look semi-close
Yeah.
to one. So we're doing the best we can to not go over budget, because last year we were way over budget. So this year, we're trying to make sure that we maintain our budget, but use the funds in a good way. And if we can get volunteers to do stuff, I know I have a bunch of the ladies that are gonna help re-landscape the gatehouse. And they'll probably be interested in doing the bathhouses too, just because they're smaller areas and easier to do. I talked to some landscape contractors that are in here that own landscape businesses, asking them for their ideas for the entryway, because we want to make it easy to maintain. We don't want it to be cumbersome to maintain. We also want it to look really nice. And we're working on getting that together so that we can, as a community, improve our stuff. Because if we put the work in, we're going to care more about it. We see someone running over the plants, we're going to. I would not condone you doing anything violent to that person. However, I've met some of you and I know what you would do.
I have another concern that happens to be connected to the dumpster. Tracy brought it to my attention that up in the maintenance area, behind that white vinyl fence, is a huge display of used grills, smokers, and everything else that people have left out by the dumpsters. The dumpster people won't take them. They don't care, they just leave them there anyway. Speaking of the owners, the dumpsters are for household use only. If you have a grill that needs to be hauled away, please haul it away. Take it down to Scramble Town to the dump or whatever. Don't leave it there for somebody else to do it. Because right now, I'm gonna donate my truck. Tracy's already said that he'll donate his big dump trailer, and we've gotta go load it up. So, how many people wanna help us load all of that stuff up in the trailer and take a trip to Scramble Town and unload it? Do I see any of your hands? There you go. What time do you want to do it?
11:30.
Okay. You have something, you
I actually had something today.
Dave's been doing it quite a while. He's been waiting till he gets a load. Then he puts the trailer in your truck, and then he goes.
No, you can have it.
Be half hour after this meeting's adjourned, and we'll meet up there at the maintenance section.
All right.
Load them up, and I just need somebody to help me load them up. I have a arthritis problem, and I keep, so I need help.
I can help with
I wish, it was all.
Is there no scrap metal person that'll come get them?
There used to be a guy that came and got it. They used to pile it up there and then call him, and he used to come and get it. But I think they told me that he hasn't been coming to pick
Well,
up.
no, it's not even that. What happened was, he wants to pick and choose what he wants to take. Okay, so I'll take that, because that's stainless, but I ain't taking that, and I'll take this. Well, no,
I'm with you there.
you can take it all, or you don't be bothered showing up.
Okay.
He's gone.
But if you see a neighbor putting his burnout grill over at the dumpster, who's gonna enforce that rule? That's why we're trying to talk about it, so the whole park. I know you do. Oh, yes, I would. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right,
I mean, somebody has to pick that crap up.
right.
And our guys, I feel bad for a treadmill,
There's a treadmill?
Yeah, there's a treadmill.
smokers and grills and refrigerators.
I think that's
Oh, boy,
where
Diane,
this,
sure.
I see it all.
Up there, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, up there.
I take a picture.
Yeah.
Then I delete them.
But it is for household use
A
only,
mattress.
you know?
Who wants to put a mattress up there? And then they'll split it up on top and it rains.
Right.
But,
I don't guess we could get a dumpster in here?
We did.
That type of stuff for,
We
maintenance.
did.
That's the last
We did.
one I was at.
It didn't work out.
Really
The expense was not.
It didn't work out.
So if we were to bring that dumpster back, it would be in the maintenance area. It would be locked all the time. even when maintenance is working that day, the gate would be locked, and then you would have to pay yourself to dump into it because people were coming in and throwing all kinds of stuff in it that we were having to pull out of that dumpster yet again.
Well, vendors were.
He's got a, he's got a comment.
Do you know we have scrap places where you can pay for cash or weigh it?
I don't know if there's any near here.
Not here,
Yeah.
not anywhere near here.
I belong to an organization, we do this like monthly, where we go around, collect scrap, take it in, cash it in. We make anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a year.
Where do you take it to?
Well, I'm from Illinois.
That'd be a
So
long haul,
I didn't know if you had something like that.
The only scrapyards that I know of are here right outside downtown St. Augustine.
Plus the place, the price of scrap.
Only the bigger cities
Yeah,
have that
scrap
scrap.
prices are terrible.
Yes.
I belong to other condo associations. We had one, we put a camera up. You were not putting your trash in that dumpster. It's an automatic $100 fine. Doesn't make these people have to.
Yeah.
You might consider something like that.
Yeah, we would like to. It would be, that's actually a good idea.
Wait a second, there's a comment in the back.
If you needed it, I have a trailer from here this weekend, if you needed it. I just can't put it.
Appreciate your offer, but we have
It's a
trade.
Right, if there's.
Yeah, on that.
If you have an update on the schools at all, I mean, last week, the kids and family pool was supposed to be closed because of the crack open with the opening was closed. Is the family pool safe to use this guy for activity?
No, there's a hole in it.
No. As of right now,
I don't know what's going on,
as of right now, the pools are closed.
both.
Yes, the family and the adult pool.
What was the adult pool?
Why? It's the same reason, same ongoing reason, they cannot keep the chemicals balanced in it
One's chemical.
because there's a leak in it, and if you look at the far end, it's pumping air back through, which tells you there's a leak in the plumbing on it. So the chemicals cannot be, they add chemicals by dumping it into the pool. If those chemicals do not circulate in the pool, they evaporate and it's of no use. What I am recommending, I am not a chemist, no I'm not, but I've dealt with pools and situations like this, and please let your friends and your neighbors know, if they go down to swim in that pool and you cannot see that drain, don't even put your toe in it. It is dangerous to your health. You can get violently sick.
Did they reopen the family pool, or were there just
No.
a large group of people out there swimming in the family pool? It was unlocked, there was a bunch of people out
They did have it open for a couple of days.
They,
Yes, they did, at the bottom, that Marsite started coming out in chunks.
yeah, I was concerned,
And
because
so
the
they
critters
closed
coming in here and it's open, and we know, personally, we don't get it if there is something wrong with it, but when the guests come in, they don't come.
Okay, that's so, understand this. SSRA, the board, cannot dictate what is going to happen and when it's going to happen to the pools.
But we
Okay,
understand.
all right.
I think we all are.
As long as everybody knows that, we have to depend on Plaza Lodge.
But it should be, there should be notices posted on those, but it's on there right now, like I said, there's a bunch.
When they close them, they usually put notices on the gate.
Yeah.
And the health department told me that they had come out to look at the Marsite room that's coming up, but I haven't followed up with her to see what the latest updates are.
It's very dangerous. Marsite will cut you like a razor blade.
Well, that was my concern, is guests coming in to dump on their situations, and they were all there.
That's not all they need to be aware of.
Also, the board has a scheduled conference call with Kathleen, the attorney, next week on Wednesday, the 26th at 4 p.m. It'll be a closed meeting. We're going to be discussing the issues with Plaza Lodge and his draft lawsuit that he likes to mail us on a regular basis. So,
Pretty wild purchase.
right now, that seems like a pipe dream. I like it, but it seems like one.
That's the final stuff of
Right.
it. This week, I just want to bring this to the owners' awareness too. This week, there was a big hullabaloo that happened down here with the boats and the boat trailers. Signs were up that it's 24-hour notice, and some time ago, even at the guardhouse, you had to give bands that they put on a trailer. How long was that?
They gave me a van, we came in November, they gave us a van to go to our boat park it down there.
How long ago? Do you know approximately what time, what month they started that?
I know it, I don't know.
No, I'm asking.
Whenever the $10 thing changed, that's when we started.
Did you know anything about it? I do.
They give us one in July
All right. Well, that's null and void, believe it or not, because he has signs out there, he, meaning Plaza Lodge, in there.
That ban wasn't to denote that they're allowed to park up there, it was to denote that they paid the check-in fee with their trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
And, they were allowed to my understanding, they were allowed short-term parking, meaning for the weekend.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
Right
the
now-
the one sign does say 24 hours.
it's gone to 24 hours that you can do that. I would strongly recommend that you do not leave a trailer or a boat and trailer parked there for over 24 hours. They have given us fair warning once again and have taken action, and they will start pulling things out. They came this past week to do so, and we got ahead of them a little bit and saved everybody from a big blow up. So please let your neighbors know, don't do that. The other thing, that covers that parking. The other thing is, what we have found, is that the state is going to come put signs up along the shoreline for mooring. Once those state signs go up, you're at your own risk. We, North Plaza Lodge, can control who does what down there, but the state can and will. We have been already told, once those proper signs get put up, don't push your luck. So-
You can't worry about those.
Without a permit, you can go to the state and get a mooring permit. DEP. I don't think it's that much. But anyway, we're trying to make everybody aware of the potential and when it could happen. No, we don't know when the state is gonna put those signs in. I'm just telling you they're coming. Okay? I don't wanna see anybody get their boat pulled out of here or their trailer pulled out from up there. So that's why we're letting you know.
I have a question too, because what's going on in front of the cabin areas, we were told one time, no
Yeah,
trailers and everything, and it's all.
that's Plaza Lodge. Same thing up here. They said, don't park there, da-da-da-da-da. Well, boy, that's been going on for like 6 months. Then about 4 months ago, they said, no parking down here. We're gonna move the fence up towards the road where it needs to be. Nothing's ever happened. Right now, at the point that we are in negotiations with Plaza Lodge, I would not test them to see what they're gonna do. Okay? With the condition of the pool, I will say this, with the condition of the pools and the lodge, we have been prodding to get something done. So he revolted and said, okay, fine. I'm coming in, I'm gonna tow this, because I told you people get your boats off, and that's what he did. So, you think you're winning, then all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, I'm not even in the ballgame. We're trying our best bring this to a close.
Well, and the destruction people do and to everything in revolt is not helping. I mean, because if I owned the in there and everybody's destroying it, why would I want it?
Exactly.
Just to
Absolutely.
get, destroying it. I don't understand adults. This is stuff kids do.
Right.
And, revolt to each other, adults.
Wow. You're exactly right.
I mean,
I'm gonna take it one step further, okay? There was a trailer down here with a double side-by-side parked on it, and the people that owned that, their property already had like 3 boat trailers and a whole bunch of other stuff, and way over what is allowed. So he said, I'm gonna get it out of here, and he was all hot-headed, and he pulled it out and he parked it on his lot, and I followed him. I'm like, ooh, guess what, dude? I'll be right back. I've got to go get something and rate you up because this is out of compliance.
there's a storage place.
And I told him that. And it would be so nice that if adults, mature adults that are in here would help instead of hindering our progress. That's all it is. I thought we were all on the same team here.
I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn the meeting, because we're just chatting now.
I
so
second.
I'm just gonna close the official portion of the meeting.
I second.
All right, Mike seconds, all in favor? Aye. All right, we're adjourned at 11:27. That was only an hour and a half.